Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hoyt Lakes Regular City Council meeting, Monday, April 26, 2021, 6:30. Roll call, please.
Mayor Vreeland.
Here.
Councilor Zins.
Here.
Pop.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Roll call is complete. Everybody's here. Consent agenda.
Item 3 is approval of City Council meeting minutes, regular meeting April 12th, special meeting on April 15th, and the local Board of Appeal and Equalization on April 14th. Item 7 is the filing of correspondence listed on the agenda. And item 10 is approval of claims, payroll, and receipts.
Everybody okay with the consent agenda? If so, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Motion by Councilor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Kramer. Roll call.
Councilor Zins.
Yes.
Pop.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Nobody is on tonight from guests and citizens forum, so we'll move down to reports from staff. Public Works Supervisor Kenny Snetzinger.
All right, got a few things for me since I wasn't at the last one. We're all wrapped up with our street sweeping. We finished that up last week. We do still have a few areas out at the campground, boat landings and such that we'll be doing with our other machine, but the street sweeper has been brought back to Aurora so they can get underway with theirs. We're in the process of getting the water turned on. We got the golf course on last week. One of the buildings is operational out at the campground and the other ones will be weather permitting. I mean, you don't want to rush it when we're still getting freezing temperatures at night. We put a couple docks in. Colby Landing is functional right now, and the main boat landing at the campground is functional as well. We have one more dock to put in. We're waiting on one part. We want to do one more repair to that before we get it put in, along with the fishing pier. I'm working on with several different contractors all the different projects we got on our plate this summer, building and remodel projects, etc. At the time when this agenda was put together, I didn't have all the quotes for the community building roof project, but I'm happy to report that one of the quotes that I did have already at that time is from a local contractor we've worked with for roofing projects before, and they did fall within what we had budgeted. So I was happy to see that. So we will be able to move forward with that project. I do have other quotes I'm putting together as well. So that'll be on the next council meeting for approval. Other than that, Public Works has been participating in the food drives the last few weeks. Those I see have been extended for another month into May. Those have been going well. The amount of food is getting kind of dialed into what we need each time. We're not running out, nor are we waiting all day to get rid of it. So it's just about the right amount for what I think our area's needs are. So that's going well. Other than that, I just wanted to report next week we'll be doing curb cleanup. I want to remind citizens that when they put their stuff out on the boulevards, just a reminder, the ad in the paper does specify, but I want to remind you that tires and wheels have to be separate. We'll take tires, we'll take wheels, but not tires and wheels together. Same thing with appliances. The doors have to be removed from the appliances when you put them out. And tree branches, stuff like that, it needs to be cut into 6-foot lengths, and we would appreciate if when you make your piles, you know, even though you have them cut into 6-foot lengths, don't make a 100-foot long pile. Make separate piles, say 6 feet long. That it just makes it much easier with our equipment to grab them, and it's not all tangled together. So that would make our life easier for curb cleanup. We look forward to doing it next week. And one last thing, Jake might elaborate to it. JR Wastewater was in town doing some work for us, and we had them clean out a few storm drains that aren't taking water, and we're running into, of course, what we always run into with corrugated storm drains. We're running into more collapsed pipes that are going to need some addressing in the future, but I just want that you guys to be aware of that.
Is that it, Kenny?
That's it. That's all I
Hey,
got.
Kenny, got a quick question. I had a call from a resident questioning the Colby Lake boat dock.
Yes.
He said it was in rough shape. Has
Yeah.
anything been done with that, or?
We rebuilt it over the winter. We brought it back here to the city garage like in December. We completely stripped it down, put all new green treated decking on it, new boat bumpers, everything on it's brand new.
Okay, thank you.
It came out really nice. It looks good.
Okay.
Yep.
Public Utilities Supervisor Jake Byrne.
All right. Well, Kenny kind of filled you in on the storm sewer situation. We got a couple that need to be addressed. There's one in the alley behind the shopping center that's really bad. It's starting to cave in a chunk of the road there. But we'll have to figure out something for that. Other than that, JR Sewer Service, the flows were just too high. We're still at about 600,000 gallons, yeah, 600,000 gallons a day coming into the wastewater plant. That's just too much for them to finish up that stretch. So in a couple weeks, they're going to check back with me and see if the flows are down, just with all the rain and the melt and all that. Other than that, I just have agenda items. So,
Jake, question, did we get an ad in the shop rate? I don't remember about getting some pumps switched back over. I know some of them that could be hurting right now too.
yeah, and I thought about that. I want to put an ad in regarding the agenda item coming up. I
Okay.
was going to put one out at that same time. So,
All right. Thank you.
yep.
East Range PD Chief Tim Suler. Can't hear you, Tim. Still can't hear you.
He got a new webcam today, so it may not be set up 100% correctly. I can run over tomorrow and double check it. But Tim, if you wanted to call in, you can definitely do that and give your report.
We'll move on for now then. I'll go to Wade West.
Everything's going good. I'm looking at trying to get the golf course open the end of the week. I know we have a high school meet on Thursday, and I don't want to put that off if I can. It'll depend on a little bit more on how much rain we get tomorrow too, but everything looks pretty good out there. So we just need some warm temperatures for more than 1 or 2 days in a row. So, and the arena, we're just buttoning up on a few cleaning items. I've got somebody coming in to clean the boards here, hopefully this coming week or weekend. Other than that, that building's pretty much shut down for the year. So they have started pickleball again during the days on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. So
Okay.
otherwise, not much else.
Okay. And I'd like to welcome new city administrator Becky Landry. Do you have anything for now, Becky?
Nope, just that everyone's been very kind so far. They're kind of easing me into it. Maybe they'll swamp me later in the week, but today was good. So thank you, everyone.
Okay. Attorney Brunfeld. Mitch, do you have anything now?
Mayor and Council, there is the item 8B, that animal control. Unfortunately, I just have not been able to complete my work on that just because of some court stuff that I've had going on as I've been swamped with here the last couple of weeks. So 8B, I'm not going to be prepared to move forward on that tonight. I should be able to finish that this week or sometime next week so we can have it on the next meeting agenda. And then other than that, so on 8B, we probably just maybe would table that to the next meeting. And then on 9F, I will have just some thoughts on that American Tower proposal when we get to that item on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. And to City Clerk Rebecca Burrich, congratulations. I'll be her last meeting with us tonight. And do you have anything for us?
Well, I just want to thank you all, everything, current mayor, previous mayor and councils and current council, just for all my opportunities over my many years here. I came moved back here in 1999, not sure what was going to happen with my life, and I sure landed in a very good job here. Excellent benefits and a road of that I stepped up quite a bit. And so I really appreciate all the opportunities. I didn't get here alone. Had a lot of help from city staff, current and present, especially Tammy and Betsy, Rick Bradford, Linda Scott. I thank our city attorneys, engineering staff. There's just, I could list beyond here, very long listing all the people that helped me get as far as I did. But I would just like to thank everyone for the opportunity to work here, and I'm very grateful. And I'm also happy to be retiring on a good note and with a very generous agreement that this council approved for me and insurance moving forward. Very generous, and I'm very grateful. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Becky. We'll move on to reports from city council and mayor. Councilor Zins.
Yeah, I received the email today from Steve Georgie, the executive director of Rams. He's going to be stepping down. His last day will be June 30th. So he's going to be greatly missed because he's been excellent in his job. So that's about it.
What brought that up, David? First I heard of it.
We had our meeting Thursday. There was no indication of anything. The email came out today and that was it. Just he is given a 60-day notice for the board to look for somebody to replace him. So
That's good.
I don't know if he's got bigger and better things that he's looking into or what. I don't think there was any issues as far as Rams goes. I think it was just a personal decision that he's made.
Okay. Councilor Pop.
Yeah, just a couple things. We've been continuing our weekly meetings with Chief Suler and White Officer Schumacher, dealing with some of the individual cases that have been tough to get into compliance. We're going to continue those efforts going forward. You know, Kenny elaborated on the curb cleanup. We're really hoping that people will fully utilize both what the city is going to pick up and also the free extra garbage day from East Mesabi Sanitation. So other than that, I think that's it.
Thank you, Councilor Pop. Councilor Peterson.
Yes, just a couple things. Sue's not on, so I thought I'd just tell everybody that the library board decided that they're not going to implement any fines anymore for overdue books or DVDs or whatever else you can rent. Just basically, if you have anything checked out and you're past the due date, you just can't check out anything else until you return the current items that you have. So that's kind of nice. They are planning the summer reading program, which starts June 7th. So watch for that. And then the chamber is looking for queen candidates for Water Carnival. So if anyone knows any girls going into their senior year, and they just have to be from Hoyt Lakes, to contact Jade Radke. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilor Kramer.
The only thing I have is I attended the garden club meeting and they just had a couple of questions. One was regarding the electronic sign at the arena. They want to put like flower pots on each side of it. And they're wondering if there's any sort of pad that's going to go down, like concrete or other, and maybe Supervisor Snetzinger knows that answer.
Yeah, I do, Deb. Last year, we have the flower pots available for them down here at the city garage. We were going to put them out last year, but we felt that we would let the dirt area settle around the sign before we poured a concrete slab and have some problem with it settling and cracking. So we do have a couple other small concrete projects, one for the library and one for a memorial bench coming up. I think I could maybe roll that in if that is in fact what the garden club wants, is a slab to put those planters on. we can probably get that done as well and do all three of them at once.
Okay, and do you have a time frame for that if I contact them just to see if they do want to do that?
Well, I'm hoping for sometime in May. One of the memorial benches the family was hoping to have by Memorial Day. I didn't make any promises. I was hoping to get that done by Memorial Day. The library project needs to be completed by a date in late June. So again, you know, I would like to see if we're going to do all three of them at the same time. I would expect in the near future.
Sure, okay. And then they were just also talking about the budget allotment that they normally get. They said they thought that was already approved and they usually get the money in May. So just making sure that that is already approved for 2021 and then they'll get that in May. Is that accurate?
It's always approved during the budget cycle, and that $1,500 check, I believe, will be ready tomorrow, Deb.
Okay, I'll let them know then. Thanks. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Deb. I got a couple quick things. Kenny alluded that we're going to do the food distribution again in May 6th and May 20th. I did get an email from the gal that runs it, and we no longer have to ask questions when they come up. I've always had a couple of the gentlemen filling out those forms, how many cars, how many. They don't want that anymore. They just said, have them pull up and ask for how many boxes they want, and so we don't have to do any forms anymore. So I would imagine May will probably be the end of that because, you know, with the dairy products and fresh produce, we don't have any refrigeration. So anybody that's available on the 6th and the 20th. And the other thing I'd like to comment on is I really like to thank the citizens and city staff. The town's looking fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of people out picking up garbage on their own, and I really think the town coming into this spring really looks good. So I'd just like to thank everybody for that. So, and that's all I have right now. We'll move on to old business. Bid opening water tower project. Patrick Skoji?
Yes.
Skoji from SEH is on. He's kind of in charge of that. So I'll let you give us a quick update.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. On the 22nd of April, 6 bids were received with the high bid at $488,700 and a low bid of $241,050, with the engineer's estimate coming in at $425,950. After the opening, I did contact the low bidder. They did state they believe they have a math error in their bid, and it was uploaded. There's no math errors on any of the bid forms. It was behind the scenes. With that, they've said they will honor that price if they could start the project on May 17th instead of June or July 15th, as indicated in the bid documents. I spoke with several of their references. The references state they could do the project and that they felt that this, if we moved forward, they would successfully complete the project.
Okay. Patrick, the only reason or only concern I have for that early date is weather. I would imagine you will be on, or somebody from SEH will be on site to make sure the weather is warm enough to do the project.
Yes, sir. I did review the specifications. I also reviewed the local weather. The primer materials for both the interior and the exterior are good to 35 degrees surface and air temperature. The intermediate coats are good to 50 and can have an accelerator put in them, which will bring them down to 35 to 40 degree range as well.
Okay.
We will have inspectors on site through critical hold point times.
Okay, so you're telling me you're going to guarantee me we're going to be above 35 in the middle of May? Is that what I'm hearing?
I wish I could, but no. I think everyone on the call would love to hear that.
Yeah, Jake, do you have any concerns with getting that tower ready by May 17th?
Nope, I spoke with my staff this morning too. We all feel we can get that set up for them, so.
Okay.
Should be a good deal.
One other thing for the council and Mr. Mayor, we do have a 49-day substantial completion written into the specification with $1,000 per day liquidated damages. So
Okay.
barring any weather or acts of God.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. So you, Patrick, you are recommending we move forward then?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm looking for a motion, or, excuse me, does any of the council have any other questions for Patrick?
Yes, Patrick, just one quick question. With such a huge discrepancy in both the engineer's estimate and comparing the estimates to the other companies that put in, I see that the huge differences are both obviously in the coating removal and replacement, both interior and exterior. Did the Osseo group allude at all to where they felt they made the mistake on their estimate, or do you have any concerns that we may get hit with some change orders? They're going to take some shortcuts, obviously with SEH on site, that the shortcut shouldn't happen. But I know with some of these last projects we've got hit with a lot of change orders and ended up paying more anyway in the long run. But
I do not see anything that the low price concerns me, as it always would, and the gap. Now, I can say that through this past winter cycle with our bidding, we have seen a substantial decrease in the price for painting water towers. We've also seen an increase in the amount of bidders, and that seems to be reflecting on a kind of a slower throughout the Midwest for the tank painting. I did look at the unit prices and did a quick estimation of materials to see if there was something there that jumped out at me. Not blatantly. What it comes out to be per square foot, although on the cheap side, nothing jumped out, like I said, blatantly that came out at me. I can say that in Osseo's proof of responsibility submitted with the bid, they did state, and as I read it, no present contracts for 2021.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not hearing any, could I have a motion to approve this project?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Pop to approve the Osseo Construction Company LLC and the price of $241,050. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. Roll call.
Mayor Vreeland, in the motion, could it be included that for the project start date of May 17th?
Yep.
Councilor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. And just an FYI, this was a budgeted item and we did receive a $250,000 grant from IRRB with SEH's support on that. So this will cover the cost plus a portion of the engineering fee. So that's really good news for our budget for the year. So
Mayor
moving on.
Vreeland,
Yes,
Chief Suler is back on over the telephone, so.
okay. Does he want to just wait for agenda item or?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, we'll talk to you when that comes up, Tim. Item 8B, animal control resolution. I think, Mitch, you just wanted us to table this for tonight.
Yeah,
I'll make
Mayor,
a
like I
motion
said,
to table.
I'll do my,
You remuted. Mitch, you remuted.
yeah, Mayor, that's fine. And I'll do my final workup on it here in the next week and a half, and then we'll have it ready for your next meeting.
Okay. Moving on to 8C, water sewer bills. The council remembers I had this added because of the delinquent issue, and we did receive a letter from League of Minnesota Cities and the Minnesota Attorney General stating, it basically says the Minnesota Attorney General has said that shutting off residential water service could be considered a constructive eviction because homes are not considered habitable if there's no running water. So they are highly recommend we don't shut water off right now. So I really don't think we can act on this tonight. Unless Becky Lammy, do you have any other update on that?
The only thing that I would update the council on is the American Rescue Act has quite a bit of money in it for utility bill replacement. Additionally, the city can use its Rescue Act monies for revenue replacement, which we could not use the CARES Act monies for. My suggestion, I'm sure we'll have a meeting regarding the Rescue Act money specifically, but my suggestion will be at that time, if it is possible, that we issue revenue replacement with those monies. However, that we do it with limitations. So if that limitation be the person would need to submit a denial letter from St. Louis County, because St. Louis County is getting quite a bit of money for utility bill payment. So people can apply there and pay their utility bills with St. Louis County Rescue Act monies. So whatever program the city puts in place, there will be a revenue replacement for those. However we get there, we'll just determine the regulations at that time.
Okay. Any of the council have any questions on this? Not hearing any. We'll move on to item 8D, approve summer hires as budgeted, pending successful completion of required city testing. Public Works labor, Hayden Suler, Braden Leffel, Cole Meyer. Public Works mowers, Chloe Benson, Bethany Pola, Caitlin James, and Public Utilities labor, Wyatt Palmy. Any discussion on this from council? Not hearing any. Motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the summer hires.
Motion by Councillor Peterson. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councillor Kramer. Roll call.
Councilors Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Breland.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to new business, City of Boavic, City of White Lakes Ambulance Coverage Agreement. I think Mel put that in here. It's just a change again. I believe it's just down to 1 day a week that we're covering Boavic now. And
Yes. Mel gave me a call the other day stating that she had spoke with the city over of Boavic, and their request is down to one day. So, and I believe it's Thursdays. Yeah. Dan, do you have any other
No, I haven't seen
insight
it.
into that? But
No, just to confirm, it is Thursdays from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So,
okay.
and that was something that, Chris, when you and I met with the city of Boavic and the ambulance service, all along the agreement was as they got more people trained, we would take on, or they would take on more days and alleviate our department from having to cover for them. So.
Okay. We'll need a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for the city of Boavic, White Lake ambulance coverage.
Motion by Councillor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support that.
Support by Councillor Pop. Roll call.
Councilors Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Breland.
Yes, motion carries. Item B, Masabi East Youth Hockey Early Ice at Arena. Councillor Peterson, is this with you?
Yes. So just basically, youth hockey is just getting ahead of schedule to get the approval for early ice. It's going to be the same 5 weeks that they normally do. They just want it approved ahead of time so they can start planning things and booking things, coaches or whatever, to come do clinics or whatever they want to have during that time frame.
Okay, Wade, are you good with this?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. I don't know, Becky, Lammy, do we need a motion on this or just, we've done this in the past? They pay for the first 5 weeks of ice to have a 4-on-4 league.
I would say it will depend on what your decision would be regarding organization. But at this point in time, I would have a motion to approve.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve that?
So, Mayor, do we need to include the price? I think last year we charged them $2,000 a week. Does that need to be in the motion or not?
Yes, I'm getting Becky Lammy shaking her head yes. So Chris, should that be part of your motion?
Yes.
Okay. So they'll be renting the ice for 5 weeks at $2,000 a week. Same contract as last year. And I got a motion by Counselor Peterson. Was there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Zins. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item C, 2021 Special Archery Deer Hunt. Chief Suler.
Yeah, so it's time, once again, the DNR is asking us to provide the documents to renew, to be part of the deer hunt and be placed in the hunting regulation book that's coming out. Last year, again, we had 15 deer that were removed from the city during the city hunt. The prior year was 15. We dipped down to 27. And then, of course, the first 2 years were the most. So I think it's time that the council takes a look at the hunt as a whole, and if we want to continue, or if we would like to take a different approach. And I think that we've been able to manage the herd. I think we can all agree that it's reduced into numbers where everybody around town is comfortable. Our car deer accidents, the deer we see coming through town nowadays, when we could count 150 to 200, has been reduced to 30, maybe 40 in different bunches. So there's a lot of work from an administrative standpoint that goes into the hunt. And then, of course, enforcing the hunt and administering the hunt. So my recommendation to the council is I would like to see us go to a general archery tag, which means that the area that we allowed our hunters in, that we no longer have to have applicants and a lottery draw, that we allow any general archery tag hunter to come in within the bounds of our community where it's allowed to archery hunt and participate. With that being said, I'd like to see us continue more with our archery boundaries, laying them right out on a map, color-coded map. The map would simply highlight the area where general archery is allowed, transition into where shotguns are allowed around the city, and then the third being the rifle. And I think if we can get that map laid out, and it's already in place, but it's dated, of course, and technology's changed, and we should be able to provide that map online, color-coded. People can look and see. With the GPS on your phone, there shouldn't be any guessing where shotguns and rifles transition throughout our city and where that archery boundary is. So with some work on that end, I think that I'm comfortable transitioning into a general archery. Now, again, we cannot at Fisherman's Point, we cannot hunt within the inner portions of the city. I mean, all that stuff will continue to be off limits, and we'll take a reasonable approach to it. But we have so much green space surrounding our city that I think we should allow our hunters to safely utilize that green space and harvest the animals and keep them under control. So I'm curious to hear what the council thinks about that and what direction you want to head. I'm fine, and we're capable of putting on that hunt. It looks like Aurora's going to go with it. We're 3 years ahead of Aurora. So whatever decision you make is fine, but I think now is the time to talk about that before it hits fall.
Council, any discussion from the council?
I think it sounds like a good idea, what Chief Suler is suggesting, because we've been doing the hunt, for 6 years now?
Yep.
So I think that's a great idea to go that route if the rest of the council wants to.
Anybody else?
I don't have a problem with that. I think that, as long as there's some hunting allowed, I think that was one of the key things the DNR said, was that in order for us to stay on top of it, we'd have to allow some type of hunting each year to keep the numbers down. So.
Okay.
And, we have a lot of young hunters that we love to see out using our resources. And I think along with the archery, we really need to define the waterfall hunting, that's not allowed on the Fisherman's Point tip, but any shoreline around that. We've never really addressed that. We do get calls during the fall from the people in trailer court saying, hey, they're down there shooting. We go down there legally on the shoreline hunting. But it'd be a great opportunity to really take a fresh look at it and allow as much of that safe recreational things we can for our young sportsmen that are around the town. I mean, it's great to see. But we have to give them that opportunity for sure. So I'd like to address all of that. And there'll be some costs up front, printing the maps and laying them out. But I think it's one of them things where if we do it now, 30 years from now, it'll still be in effect unless the geographics of the city change development-wise. So.
Okay. Any other council discussion?
I kind of agree with Chief Sewler there. She made some excellent points, and I think that's a good transition from the special hunt to go into what Chief Sewler is proposing and go forward from there. So very much in approval.
Okay, so I guess what I'm looking at then is, you got two Beckys always looking at me. I'm going to Becky Burch on this one because we need a motion because we've always done a motion to pass each year, correct? So we would need a motion tonight to cancel the special archery hunt.
Correct.
Okay. Can I have a motion in that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Zins. Support.
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. Roll call.
Councilors Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Moving to item E, City of Hoyt elects resolution 2021-006. Excuse me, I missed one.
Right.
City of Hoyt Lakes Resolution 2021-005 sponsorship for the Moose Trail. There's a resolution in front of you. What this is about is the Ranger Snowmobile Club now does ATV upgrades too. So they need a resolution from us so they get grant and aid money for their maintenance costs. For every hour they put in on maintenance, they turn that in and they get money from the state through the state money. So we just need to make a motion approving this resolution tonight. Any discussion on that? Not hearing any. Motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2021-005.
Motion by Councilor Pop. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. Roll call.
Councilor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item E, Councilor Peterson and myself met with Mike Larson with SEH. Mike brought forward, there's some Mighty Ducks grant out there for the arena. This is just a resolution tonight requesting for $500,000 from the James Metzen Mighty Ducks grant program. We don't know if we'll get it or not, but we have to have a resolution as the first step before we fill out the application on it. So any questions on this?
So Mayor, then this is just the resolution to, as you stated, to be able to fill out the application, and there's no assumptions in here as to the city's obligation to come up with the other 1.6 million or where that funding is going to come from. This is just the very initial step.
That's correct. And I've also been working, Chris and I, with Mike Larson on, they're putting in $1 million bonding request for next year through the state. This one here, you have to have a 50-50 match. So we feel the city is still going to be responsible for, $600,000-700,000. So we'd have to match this one, but I'm hoping we get this plus the bonding to cover a large portion of that. But that's going to be some budget discussion for the council to see where we're moving forward with that. Any other discussion? Not hearing any, could I have a motion for resolution 2021-006?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilor Peterson. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Kramer. Roll call.
Councilors Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item F, American Tower proposed lease amendment dated April 2nd, 2021. Attorney Brunfeld?
Mayor and council, I've reviewed this. We've seen this come forward many times with American Tower, and they, are continually contacting municipalities where they have some sort of a lease rental arrangement for space on a city water tower. You have an existing binding contract with them. I think the contract has worked very well. I think the pricing on the contract is excellent. And since you have a good contract in place, we have typically, this city and other cities have typically just politely declined these proposed amendments. I think, it's an attempt by American Tower to, I think, kind of wedge themselves in a little more aggressively into the use of the water tower facilities. And so I think we probably is best to probably just stand pat on these. We have good contract, we have good contract terms, and I would not recommend that you make any changes. As far as this right of first refusal, that's a fairly innocuous type of a provision, but they're only offering $2,500 for the right of first refusal, and it, if you did want to do something with the lease arrangements on the tower, you are, I think, making it a little more complicated for the city. You're getting a little more entangled by agreeing to a right of first refusal. And frankly, the amount that they're offering, $2,500, is, what they're paying is probably not worth the potential headaches that you'd be creating for yourself by being tangled up with a right of first refusal commitment that you would have to American Tower. So based upon my overall review of it, my recommendation to the council would be just to take no action on it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mitch? Okay. All right, moving on.
Well, I think Becky had a question.
Well, I just wonder if we should have a motion so it's in the minutes that we're taking no action.
You could make a motion that the city council is just declining the
offer.
proposal. Yeah, declining the offer. Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to decline the offer from American Tower?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Buck, support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Kramer. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Hoff,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item G, City Administrator Becky Lammy put this on here. She's got some questions on here. Becky, as you see, we do have a city organizational chart. It's going to need some revamping. I don't know what you would like to do, if you want to work on it and bring it back, or what would you like to do?
My thought with this item was just to get a feeling from the council. With the city administrator change, there is a change in how city operations flows. So traditionally, there aren't liaisons to departments any longer. The city administrator tends to be that liaison between the council and the departments. We also will revamp that organizational chart, but I was wondering if there's any specific requests or requirements that the council would have, or if you would like to move forward with that type of organizational government where the city administrator takes over all those liaison roles that the council has traditionally filled.
What's the council think? I know one of the things like liaison, some of them like Chamber of Commerce, I know stuff like that. Are you talking just departments, Becky?
Yes, I'd be talking internal departments within the city. If there's other boards or organizations the city would like me to serve on either with the liaison or in place of the liaison, that would be okay with me as well. But I'm specifically talking the department liaisons.
Okay. Any comments from council?
I think that's a good agreement with, or a good statement to make with, that was part of the whole big picture of going with the city administrator to take some of that burden off of the counselors that we're serving as the liaison. It makes the good flow and the reporting back to someone in City Hall. So I would go with that recommendation, at least to remove the liaisons from the inner city departments.
Any other comments from the council?
I guess my question would just be then in regard to the two areas that I know of that are like contracted employees, which is at the golf course and Fisherman's Point with the managers that run the clubhouse and run the point. Are they included in being considered? I mean, they're not departments, but would that be included in that new role? Because there's contract negotiations and those types of things.
In my experience, the administrator typically takes care of those things as well, yes.
I think what I'd like to do is if it's okay with the council, I would sit down with Becky and we would go through this and try to straighten it up. And since I set liaisons, we'll go over that liaison list and kind of come back at the next meeting with an update with this. Does that sound good to the council?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Becky, does that sound good with you?
That sounds perfect. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Anything else? And we'll talk about the HR committee at that time too, Becky, and kind of come up with a role for the council to look at. Same thing. Okay. All right. We're going to move to item H. We're going to go into a closed session to consider the real estate transaction at Laskin Energy Park. So.
And Mayor, if I could just interject, and I know Joel is joining, but just as far as the technical aspects of going into a closed session, we'll just need to make sure the minutes, when they produce the minutes from this part of the meeting, it does need to reflect that the council is going into closed session under Minnesota statute section 13D.05, subdivision 3, subpart C, 3. And so they can send me the minutes. I can make sure that the statutory reference is correct. And then also here on the open record, when you're going into closed session under that particular statutory provision, you do need to identify here on the public record the specific property that's going to be discussed. In other words, what is the actual real property item that's going to be discussed here? That does need to be just indicated here in public session.
So would you like me to make that statement now then?
Yeah, just if it's the address or just the name of the building or whatever you'd like, Mayor.
The city of White Lakes is looking at selling the Knott building out at the Laskin site. That is the building that's in question.
Okay, and then that's fine. And then you can go into closed session. And then when we go into closed session, when the session's actually closed, you'll actually have to repeat that again on the recording for the closed session. And then, Mayor, when we're in closed session, you also need to have the clerk make sure that she notes all who are in attendance in the closed session. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We're good to go then.
So who are we requesting to step out at this time? Everybody but council and attorneys?
Correct.
And as city administrator and city clerk. So city staff.
Yep. You'd have the city administrator, the clerk treasurer, and then the two attorneys and the council.
Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody else to step off, and I don't think you have to come back on. This is the last item for the meeting tonight. So thank you, Patrick, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yep, I'm letting him in now.
Becky's doing it, yep.
Okay.
The other Becky.
I'm glad this is only going to happen once.
Well, maybe I should come back in May.
All right, we are back in open session right now. I have a couple of motions I'm looking for. I'm looking for a motion to execute the memorandum of understanding on the 5540 Colby Lake Road sale.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Pop. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Now I'm looking for a motion to authorize the sale of the property at 5540 Colby Lake Road.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Peterson. Support.
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Kramer. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Anything else, Joel? Or
No,
Mitch?
you can go ahead and sign that memorandum of understanding
Okay.
and circulate it, and we'll present the purchase agreement for review once it's finalized.
Perfect. Any other questions tonight by the council? Not hearing any. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Motion by Kramer. Support.
I'll support.
Support by Peterson. Roll call.
This is kind of exciting. I'm giving my last roll call. So Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes. Good night, everybody. And we have an EDA meeting here right away.